The dream didn't start as a dream. It began with the fluorescent hum of the gas station lights, the cold of the counter under Izora's cheek, the faint smell of pine cleaner. Then, darkness. She was running, bare feet slipping over wet leaves, lungs burning, branches snapping across her skin. The air was thick, damp with mist, sharp with the scent of copper, rot, and fur. Her body moved like it wasn't hers, driven by instinct. Behind her, or was it ahead, something breathed, deep, slow, animal. She jolted awake at the counter, heart hammering. The monitor hummed, the lights buzzed. Her wrist throbbed, sharp, insistent. She rubbed it absently, but the mark pulsed beneath her skin, hot and aching. It was 4:11 a.m. The man was long gone. The next day, Izora sat on the edge of her bed, scrolling through news alerts. Another dog had gone missing from a fenced yard. No blood. No signs of a break-in. Just gone. Her mother's voice floated from the hallway. Maybe it's coyotes. They've been bold lately. Izora didn't answer. Her mother added, Marilyn from my book club has a son. I have to go in early tonight. Izora cut in. She grabbed her hoodie and left. That night, the station felt colder. The fluorescent lights buzzed too loud. The air seemed heavier, like it pressed on her skin. She stared at the clock. 2:57 a.m., no Lizzie. The monitor flickered. Static crawled across the front lot feed. Her pulse quickened. 2:59 a.m., no movement yet. 3:07 a.m. There he was. The man stepped into frame, moving past the pumps, straight for the trees. Izora's breath caught. Her wrist burned. She stood slowly, keys cold in her hand, her phone a trembling weight in her pocket. She wasn't a hero. She knew that. But after months of drifting, of feeling useless, maybe this was something she could do. Izora slipped out the side door and into the dark. The woods swallowed her. The further she went, the stranger the world became. No wind, no insects, no sound except the soft crunch of her own footsteps, and his somewhere ahead. She followed, careful, breath tight. The trees loomed close, their branches gnarled like claws. The air smelled thick, like wet earth and old blood. Then he stopped. A small clearing opened ahead, stones half buried in the dirt. The ground blackened in the center, dead grass curling like scorched paper. The man dropped to his knees, head bowed. His shoulders rose and fell in uneven breaths, like something was breaking inside him. Izora crept closer, heart hammering, her wrist pulsing so hard she thought it might tear her skin. She crouched beside him. Sir. No response. His skin looked paper thin, stretched tight over bones. Scars laced his chest like the aftermath of a brutal harvest. She reached out. The moment her fingers brushed his shoulder, pain exploded up her arm, white-hot, searing. She gasped, stumbling back. Her wrist burned. She yanked up her sleeve. The mark bloomed across her skin, lines sharp and black, a star with a leaping wolf in the center. The man's wrist bore the same mark. His eyes flickered open, glowing faintly, golden green. His voice rasped, barely more than a whisper. It's hungry. It's watching you now. Then he exhaled, slow and rattling, and went still. Izora didn't remember getting back to the station. One moment, she was kneeling in the woods, staring at her wrist, and the next, she was inside, back against the wall, the hum of the lights filling her head. Her hands shook. The mark pulsed, hot and alive beneath her skin. The monitor buzzed, static crackling across the screen. For a moment, she thought she saw movement in the trees, shadows twitching, shapes that weren't there. Then she looked closer. The static wasn't random. It pulsed in time with her heartbeat, lines twisting into shapes. The star, the wolf, and eyes watching her from inside the screen. A low whisper curled in her ear, close enough to feel breath. Soon, her breath caught. The mark on her wrist seared. She pressed her palm flat against the counter, trying to steady herself. When she looked up, the reflection in the window didn't match her. It smiled. Izora didn't remember how she got back to the gas station. One moment, she was kneeling in the woods, staring at the mark burned into her wrist, and the next, she was inside the store, door locked behind her, lights humming overhead. She sat on the floor in the back storage room, legs pulled up to her chest, her back against the shelves. Her breath came in shallow bursts. The mark pulsed like it had its own heartbeat. Her fingers shook as she hovered them above the design, the edges still hot, the skin red and angry. It hadn't been a hallucination. The man was dead. She had seen the mark on him, felt the heat, heard his voice. "It's watching you now." She didn't go home, didn't sleep. Just sat there until the silence got too loud. Then she grabbed her phone and dialed 911. Her voice trembled when the dispatcher answered. "I found a body in the woods off Braywood Pike near the gas station." The questions came fast. Location, condition, did she feel safe? She answered as best she could, though her own answers felt unreal. The dispatcher said someone would be sent to meet her. An officer showed up 20 minutes later, middle-aged, tired-eyed, and already doubtful before she spoke. Izora led him to the place she remembered, the narrow trail, the half-rotted tree, the slope before the stones. Only the stones weren't there. No clearing, no blackened grass, no body. The space looked like untouched forest, wild, overgrown, undisturbed. "I swear it was here," Izora said, voice tight. "There were stones. He had a mark. I touched him and—" "You say you work nights?" the officer asked gently. She nodded. He clicked his pen and scribbled something. "Night shifts mess with your head. Circadian rhythms, hallucinations. It's more common than you'd think." "I'm not hallucinating." "We'll file it, but without a scene or a body, there's not much else to do. You try and get some rest, all right?" He left her standing at the edge of the woods with nothing but the wind and a hollow kind of dread. Back at the gas station, the lights hummed like before. Her wrist throbbed. The mark had darkened, the edges cleaner now, almost sharp. Something had changed. That concludes today's episode. Join us next week for another spine-tingling tale here on Simple Dark Stories. If you enjoyed this and would like to help out, please give us 5 stars and let us know what haunts your dreams. Until next time, bye-bye.